It's so weird. Like I never saw that coming, like ever. From me, the outspoken one, me, the one who will tell you about everything and down to earth person. Me, I was a pushover. Hey, how you doing today? This morning I went for a run and I can't believe I actually ran so far. I'm still in shock. I ran 2.21 miles in 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Like, I just planned on doing 3 laps, really. And that turned out to be over 2 miles. And I'm like, what? I did so much. Oh my God. Go knees, go ankles. Yeah. So that was a great start to my morning. And I get to talk to you today, which is great. It's even better. So, remember how last week I was telling you about not telling everybody all your business and how you should keep it to yourself until it get to a certain point if you want feedback or anything? Well, sometimes when you do that, people may look at you not sharing things, especially opening up about specific small things in your life. They may look at that as, oh, you're a pushover. So I can get away with anything and just like push you over. And it's crazy because I was a pushover. I really was. And it's that's a really huge thing for me to say because how it happened, it's so weird. Like I never saw that coming, like ever. From me, the outspoken one, me, the one who will tell you about everything and down to earth person without even batting an eye or caring about your feelings or anything. Is just give you the truth without any sprinkles on top. Me, I was a pushover. And it happened it it started at home, of course, like every other friggin' trauma in everyone's life. It started at home where my grandmother would make Sunday dinner and she cooked a whole lot of food, and the food would cooked with the intention for the food to last at least half or more for the week. And that may work. I mean, that's good food prepping. But if you're having the same thing after the third day, you're just like, oh, I'm sick and tired of this. Yeah, the first 2 days, it's great. But the third day is just like, oh, this again. So it came to the point where she would not make anything else until everything in the fridge was done. Which meant that we probably had to just suck it up and eat what was there and suck it up and eat what was there or don't eat anything. I was in college at the time and it wasn't like I had time to cook for myself or that I wanted to cook for myself because the house that I lived in, there was only one person that wouldn't judge me and would actually partake in what I would make when what food I would make. And yeah, I didn't like those odds, so I didn't really cook in college. So in order to have everyone else, here it goes. In order for everyone else to have something else to eat, I would suck it up and eat all of the leftovers in the fridge so that my grandmother, it would basically ding in her head, hey, there's some more food. Can you make something else? And that's how that started. Like I took on the thing that somebody else didn't want to do because everybody else wanted to go in a different direction. So I was like, okay, this has to be done in order for everybody else to move on. And I took on that role to where it's like, hey, I don't mind doing this as long as everybody gets this. The issue with that is, and I didn't even notice this was happening. That mentality translated to other things that I was doing. And that's the sad part, because it wasn't until years later that I realized that I got stuck with all the boring and the things that I had no interest in. I got stuck with all of the things that I didn't want to do because I was shouldering that for everybody else to have a good time. And that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, it worked for everybody else, but I didn't realize that I was doing this with a smile on my face and not knowing that, hey, well, I knew, but I wasn't acknowledging that I wanted to do something else. I didn't want to shoulder what everybody else didn't want to do just because everybody else didn't want to do it. And it wasn't until recently that this actually clicked for me, because here's the situation that I was in. So I would hang out with friends who have kids and all of that. And I love kids. I love kids. I love playing with them. I love giving them back to their parents at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, that's the best part. But I enjoy, and kids love me too. So it's like, whenever the adults don't want to bother with the kids, or they're just like, go play or whatever, and just, or Jody, you watch the kids. Jody, you babysit. Jody, you do everything that has to do with the kids. Now, what that does is that takes me away from doing the adult stuff that I would like to do. Because if you're hanging out with kids, the kids kind of rule what you're going to do. They are going to want to play. And you're like, it's either you play with them or you sit and watch them play. There's not really much middle room there. And I realized that this was happening often. I would get stuck with the kids while the adults went off and did adult things, and I'd be stuck with the kids. So one day it was mentioned, hey, such and such can come with their child, and yeah, you could take the child and we go have our fun and everything. And I'm like, no. No. And the person was like, what do you mean no? And in their defense, this was like the first time I'm ever speaking up about this, because again, I didn't really know that I was doing this. And in my head, what I kept doing during those times was basically saying, well, I don't want to do that. I would rather do this. And instead of actually voicing that, I just kept it in. I was like, okay, I'll stay with the child, I'm putting myself in the position of the child. I'm like, I would want somebody to hang out with me, and it's fine. I'll just hang out with them, and I know I'll enjoy myself, so I'm going to enjoy this. And ignoring the voice in my head, like, I don't want to do that. I would rather be hanging out with you guys instead of hanging out with the child. And me saying no was the first time that I did that. And the other person was like, what do you mean no? You're confusing. Like, don't you always like to do this? Isn't this something that you do? And I'm like, yes, but here's the thing. When I get stuck doing that, I don't like it. I don't like being assigned things that, yeah, I'll enjoy, but I don't want to choose that. I'm not choosing that for myself, so don't choose that for me. And it created the environment where I could finally speak up about what it is I've been holding back and how I've been just accepting what people have been telling me to do and just doing it without even saying anything. And that's how I became a pushover. And I didn't know that I was being a pushover in that moment, because I was looking at it like, oh, well, I'm doing this because, doing this for the greater good of everybody else. Someone has to do it, so why not me? No, 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 no. Yes, someone has to do it, but it doesn't have to be me all the time. And the moment I realized that is the moment that I took back what I was willingly giving away. And I realized that I've been doing that a lot, especially when it came to a lot of things that I did in the past, where I would just take people's advice on what to do and how to do it instead of just voicing my own opinion and saying, hey, I don't like that. I don't want to do it that way. This is how I want to do it. And I would actually enjoy it more if I did it that way. And I didn't say any of that. So that created endless loops and loops and loops and loops. And I was always in the same situation. Again, just different story. Same line, the same thing happened, just different people. And I realized in that moment that I said no, that was me breaking that cycle. That was me finally stepping up for myself, finally speaking up for myself and understanding that it's okay to speak up for myself. Because if I don't speak up for myself, if I don't voice what I find disturbing and not disturbing, then how will other people know that? And me doing that was me taking back my control from other people. And that really sat with me because it made me think of all the time that I thought I was doing something good because, hey, it's going to benefit everybody. But it wasn't good for me. It was good for everybody else, and everybody else had fun. But at the end of the day, I had regrets. And I realized that if I'm going to go through my life and not regret a situation, I have to speak up for myself. And I didn't say, no, I'm not doing that. I could have easily done that. That would have been so much easier. But I know that because this was my first time saying how I truly felt, I knew I needed to add more of a reason why I was saying no and explaining that, hey, not because I enjoy being around kids and everything means that I want to be around them 100%. Well, other people's kids 100% when it comes to my time to have kids. Yes, I'll be around them and then I'll take my breaks and then the other parent can take care of them during those times. But it comes back to speaking up for me. And when I started speaking up for myself, that was my first time really speaking up for myself. And it looked like I was contradicting myself because here I am saying, oh, I don't always like doing this, but there I was. All my actions was basically saying that, oh, I love doing this. Give me more, give me more. And in the back of my head, I'm just like, I don't really like doing this. And I did a lot of things that I didn't have to do if I spoke up for myself. And I realized that I was eliminating myself especially from the group who was having fun, but I was also eliminating my true self from what I was agreeing to do. And I didn't like that. And I realized that the only way for me not to do that anymore was to speak up for myself and was to say, hey, I don't really like that. Yes, I understand in the past I used to, but I mean, I did it with a smile on my face, but at the end of the day, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And if I'm not happy, then what was the sense of agreeing to something that made it seem like I was happy? And I'm not sure if you had anyone who basically treated you like a pushover and anything, or they would just tell you what to do and you're just like, okay, whatever. I'll just, in order to like keep the peace or something and make everybody else happy, I'll just do it. And you have a lot of people who will take advantage of that situation because they're like, oh, she'll agree to anything that I tell her to do. And it's like, no, she really won't. She really won't. And again, for saying I'm the person who will tell you, no, I'm not going to do that. But then because it started with food and my grandmother cooking and me shouldering that, oh, I'll just eat everything so everybody else could benefit, that became an endless toxic cycle for me. And I'm so happy. So happy. I'm now speaking up for myself more. And it's a journey. It's a journey because sometimes I put myself in situations where it's like, hey, I really should be saying this about this right now, but I don't feel like saying anything right now because it may cause somebody to look at me a different way than how I want them to. And it's more of a concern with other people's reaction than how I feel. That's not okay. I value people's opinions on certain things, but I value how I feel more in any situation. If it don't feel right to me, it ain't right. It may be right for you, but it's not right for me. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today when I basically referenced what I was speaking about last week and saying that not everything everybody should know. But when it comes to you as a person and me as a person, yeah, we have to speak up for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll get stuck doing things that we don't want to do. And I did that for years. It's not fun. It's not fun. And I convinced myself that it was fun. That's a ridiculous part. I convinced myself that, hey, I was having fun because everybody else is having fun. And I have fun by seeing other people watching other people having fun because I'm doing this thing that's not fun. So everybody else can do what they actually want. No, I'm taking myself out of the equation. I am eliminating my fun by sitting on the sidelines. I'd rather be on the field. I'd rather be on the field. So that's it for today. And I hope I was able to help you realize some of the things that other people may be doing to you that you haven't really thought about. And this, I tell you, this came to me because I was like, listen, stop it. It's about time you stop doing that. And that's what I wanted to share. So thank you for allowing me to share that. And I will talk to you another time on Video Chat with Jody. See you. Bye.